few things here. So we're going to start with our magic circle in standing, and the circle is going to be onto your pubic bone, and we're going to hold the circle out in front of us. Okay, my feet are going to be just slightly wider than hip distance apart, and finding a neutral pelvis, I'm going to pull my shoulders down and back. So inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, we're going to have a small squeeze onto the circle so we can try and think about engaging through pelvic floor. So inhale, release, exhale, squeeze into the circle and work on that pelvic floor. Okay, and again, so inhale, release, exhale, squeeze into the circle. Okay, we've got two more. Just waking up through pelvic floor, through abdominal muscles. Breathing out, last one. Okay, taking the circle out in front of you, and we're going to have the heels of the hands onto the circle, and then we're pushing away, so the heels of the hands are really reaching down to the mat. You're going to round your shoulders down and back and be nice and tall through crown of head. Now, same thing again with the breath, so we're going to inhale and exhale, squeezing into the circle, just a small bit. Feeling the activation under the armpits, keeping the pelvic floor engaged. So inhale, release, exhale. Inhale, release. So we're going to go another 3. I'm actually using one of the metal magic circles. This one's from Align. I really like this one. All my kits Align as well, but it doesn't matter which one you've got. It's just sometimes you might be able to squeeze a little bit harder. These ones are pretty rigid. Okay, so yours may squeeze, but we're not going to over squeeze. Okay, so just working on that engagement there, really drawing up through the abdominals. Then take the circle behind you, behind your back, pull the circle away and stretch open through the chest. So you're going to pull it down towards the bottom, pushing your chest up and forwards, and then as you exhale, see if you can squeeze into the circle. It's much more tricky here. So inhale to prepare, exhale, squeeze into the circle. Yeah, I can see you nodding. Inhale, release, exhale, squeeze into the circle. Now see if you can squeeze and add a little pelvic tilt at the same time. So a little bend of the knees. So squeeze, pull the circle down, squeeze it in and release. Okay, so exhale, all of that happening at the same time. Pelvic floor, drawing in, squeezing the circle down and release. Another couple. So exhale, squeeze, lift up through pelvic floor, release, and last one. Okay. Then stepping to the front edge of your mat. Don't worry if this next bit doesn't work. Holding onto the circle, I'm going to cross one foot behind, circle out in front, and we're going to descend really slowly and try and sit down onto the mat. Okay, don't worry if it doesn't happen. It's a little bit of a difficult one, that. And then we're going to have our heels so that they're onto the floor. Your toes might touch, but don't worry if they don't, as long as we're not pulling the feet back and engaging too far into our shins. Now, holding that circle, so we're going to actually look through the ring. Draw the shoulders down, nice straight back, and then C-curve through the low pelvis, through the low back, engaging through the tummy muscles, and then start to curl back a little bit further. And we're going to pause and draw our heels into our bottom. So imagine that they're sliding in along the mat and then coming back up. Okay, and again. So exhale, squeeze into that tailbone down into the mat, working on the low back, little engagement into the circle, and then feeling like you're drawing the heels in towards you, and then coming back up, sitting tall. And again, so exhale, squeeze and roll. That's it. Adapting if you need to let go of the circle for any reason. Coming back up. Okay, and again, exhale, scoop those abdominals in, really work on finding that C curve into the low back, reaching the circle away and drawing the heels in and up. And again, we have one more here. Curling back, scooping, scooping, squeezing in through the circle, and then rolling all the way down to the mat. Holding the circle up to the ceiling and broaden through the shoulders, and then bringing your heels close to your bottom. 10 toes in parallel. We're looking for feet hip distance apart here. That circle drawing up to the ceiling, so you're really trying to lengthen the arms, but you are opening through the upper back. Then we're going to spine curl through the pelvis, so like we've done in that half roll back, but now the other way. So tuck the pelvis, start to squeeze the glutes, roll up into that bridge position, keeping the circle where it is, and then rolling back down, one vertebra at a time. And one more like this, really just working on that mobility. So inhale to prepare, exhale, working on rolling up into the bridge, and then curling back down again, down to the mat. Okay, now we're going to take the legs long. Take the legs long away from us. And we're going to glue the ankles down onto the mat. And working on this circle, reaching up to the ceiling, we're going to come into a small curl up. So reaching up, looking through the center of the circle, inhale to prepare, keep the heels pushing down onto the floor. And exhale and lift and reach that circle up so it's over the head. So it's only a tiny little movement. We're thinking about more of a chest lift than a roll up. So inhale to prepare, exhale, reaching up. So that circle is over the face, coming back down. And again, reach, squeeze, glue the heels down onto the mat. Come back down, we got another 5. So reach, squeeze, come back down. And again, reach and squeeze, come back down. Okay, a few more. Squeeze and reach. Good. 2 more now. Exhale, push those heels into the mat. And down, last one. This time, rolling all the way up. You're going to place the circle between your ankles. So the circle will actually be hovering off the floor here. So the pads are going to be sort of inside the ankles. So the circle is horizontal, okay? Otherwise it doesn't go the other way. Now, we're going to work on thinking about this seated position, sitting up nice and tall and finding that inner thigh connection. So that circle, just make sure it's in the right place so it doesn't dig in the ankle bones. And flex the feet as though you're pushing away into a door. And then as you exhale, you're going to just imagine drawing that circle up into the pubic area and feeling that inner thigh engagement and release. So we'll do the same thing, reaching the arms overhead. So as we exhale, you're going to reach those arms up overhead, draw that circle in together, and then inhale, let the arms come down. So we're sitting up as tall as we can, really working on our tummy muscles to elevate us. Exhale, squeeze into that circle. Think about working evenly between each inner thigh here. Okay, and again, that's it. Exhale, reach, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Inhale down. Can you sit a little bit taller now, right from your sitting bones? Reaching up and down. Okay, last 2. Exhale, squeezing into the circle, really trying to think about that exhale and that drawing up and in. Last one. Exhale, reach, reach, reach. Okay, so from here, we're going to change the position of the circle so that it is the opposite way, and we're going to bring it between the ankles. You just need a little bit of space because we're going to do rollovers. So the circle is going to be between the ankles in the more traditional way of having the circle there. And we've activated our inner thighs really well now. So what we're going to do is lower the legs till we can keep that control. Then as we exhale, we're going to take the legs over into that rollover. Squeezing the circle, we're going to flex the feet, rolling down as slow as we can, keeping those feet really flexed, coming down, 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 and then start to take the legs down where you can keep that control. Point the toes, squeeze, breathe, and reach. Now, if you're struggling to get these legs over, you're just going to do these little bunny hops where we lift the bottom. Okay, you can even stay in that high range with the legs up to the ceiling and keep squeezing. Pointing the toes as you lower, keeping that real engagement, and then breathing out, flexing the feet, taking it a little bit further each time. Rolling back down, working on the breath, reaching the feet, making sure your body is safe with this. You can hear my breath, and that is how I'd like you to breathe as well when we're moving through these more challenging abdominal exercises. Okay, we're really feeding into the pelvic floor using the circle. It's such a great aid for doing that. Last one. Squeeze and reach. Flexing the feet this time. You take your legs so they are high to the ceiling, keeping hold of the circle. And then I'd like you to imagine that the circle is a steering wheel, and we're going to rotate the legs around one way, keeping the pelvis as neutral as we can. So the center of the circle stays where it is, and we turn around, turn the other way. Just watch the legs don't drop the circle. So when you roll the sides of the ankle round on the circle, you just need to maintain that the circle doesn't drop. Otherwise it might hurt, especially with one of these metal ones. Okay, so turning, squeezing into the circle. So then you're going to feel quads, hip flexors, and hamstrings, as well as abdominals, and those inner thighs when you go back round to that center position. We're going to go one more each way. So I'm just struggling with my pads on my circle. And then after we've done one more each way, you're really going to feel those inner thighs and those abdominals. And we're going to hold into that crossed position. So into that cross position, we're thinking about engaging the back of one hamstring and the quad and the hip flexor, keeping the abdominals strong. We're going to squeeze into the circle, lowering it down, keeping the legs long, abdominals engaged, and then lifting back up again. Now try and maintain that you're drawing a straight line onto the ceiling. Your pelvis isn't rocking from side to side. You're going to breathe out as you lift. Really using the thighs, using the legs. I know it's tough. I'm finding it tough too. But we're going to get there together. Keep going, keep going. You're almost there before we get to do the other leg. Yeah, well done, well done. Breathe out as you come up, keep reaching, keeping that core really tight. Now switching the legs over. So we're going to switch it around the other way. Use your hands to help you with the circle if you need to. Reaching those legs up high. Now it's going to be the opposite leg. So we lower down, keeping the core really tight. Exhale. Lifting up through the circle. You're going to keep pushing into it, drawing that nice straight line on the ceiling. Breathing out as we come up. Excellent job. Inhale, exhale. Almost there. Inhale, exhale. We've got another 3. Keep those toes pointed, keep the pelvis neutral, breathing out. And almost there, almost there. Breathe out. We have one more. And then release the circle. Place the circle just on your chest for a second. Give yourself a couple of quick hip rolls, release off. Okay, then we're going into roll ups. So we did the half roll ups before. Now we're going to do the full roll ups. It's up to you if you want to start high, so you find it easier with the negative, or start low on the floor. Option to bend the legs. I'm going to hold the circle out in front of us. So again, this is your steering wheel, and then rolling back, squeezing into the circle. This time we're going to take the circle overhead, and then we're coming to that roll up and we're going to spine stretch. So curl, reach, stretch forwards, pull the tummy muscles back. It always makes my trousers come down, these ones. Okay, yeah, so rolling back, all the way down, reaching that circle overhead, and then exhaling, curling back up, heavy through the feet. Reach, 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 reach. Keep going, keep going. Now, these rollovers will almost in a way become easier as the spine releases and you come into that spine stretch, reaching forwards. You'll get more mobility into your spine, more abdominal work, making those legs heavier. And last one. Finishing yourself down to the mat, laying on your back. As we come to cross crawl, now we're going to stay holding onto the circle, but this time the circle's going to come around the ankles. So we're holding onto it now with our feet, and we're going to be in a tabletop position with our legs. So it's if this is too strong, then just keep the feet on the floor and ignore the circle. So you're going to be pushing out into the outer pads of the inner pads of the circle, bringing the legs into that tabletop position. Okay, and I want you to start to feel activation through the glutes here. So actually the legs are going to stay still as we come up into our curl up. So reaching, pushing out into the circle, drawing the tummy down, and we're going to cross and reach. So cross and reach. Now, if you're able to, you're going to reach the hand down to the side of the circle. So it's a little variation of your cross crawl, keeping the pelvis as still as you can, breathing out, really working into the sides. We're going another 6, 5, 4, keep pushing out onto the circle, 3, 2, last one. Take your legs further away from you if you can. Yeah, so if you can straighten your legs, just straighten your legs. And then we're going to come to a curl up and we're going to do side reaches now. So reach down one side, reach down the other side, palms up, keep pushing out into the circle, keep the core nice and tight, really reaching the fingers away from you. Almost there. Keep going. So we have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Take the circle off, hug your knees into your chest, and there you go. That's your 20-minute magic circle abs. So well done. Please go and do some stretches, and any stretches you feel you want to